Welcome to Golden Black Live. I got to say it twice, and we appreciate. We're now into the 2026 version of this, and after the new year, I want to thank our sponsors: Triple X, on the hill but on the level, of Purdue tradition since 1929, and of course, State Farm agent Trent Johnson at TrentIsMyAgent.com. Now, today's show. We'll have joining us in segment one, Tom Dienhart and Dub Jellison. We'll talk Purdue Portal Talk. Bruce Weber from the Big Ten Network, former Purdue assistant coach, will be in seg two. And then Bruce Parkinson. It'll be the day of the Bruces. Bruce, of course, the Hall of Fame Purdue guard that Braden Smith broke his record late last year, but he'll be talking about Braden more as we get into that. So good show today. I want to thank the folks also at WLFI for making this happen. So I'm going to bring Dub and Tom on here. All right, guys. It's by the time we're recording slightly before showtime, and something probably will have changed in the world of Purdue acquiring somebody else or somebody, the portal's still open. But Dub, I'll start with you. The count as of this morning was 14, but I think maybe that portal class has already increased. But give us the skinny of what's going on with Purdue so far.
Yeah, and this is something that I think we had talked about during the latter portion of the season. Purdue being a little bit more calculated in who they target and who they go after, and I think that's exactly what we've seen so far. Barry Odom and staff are not tasked with having to add 50 some odd new transfers this offseason. I think the number's at 15 now, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah. They just got Dylan Drennan, a punter from Buffalo. He's really talented and punted well for them last year, so that's a good pickup. But seeing the guys that they've gone after and the guys that they've got locked in, it's a lot of guys that have experience, a lot of guys that are coming off starting. You got several guys that started at the Power 4 level last year. And I think that's big for a program like Purdue, especially, trying to fill the holes of the positions that they saw guys leave at, particularly at the starting positions. So I think Purdue being a little bit more calculated, going after guys with experience more so. Obviously, you still got guys like Anthony Specca and Makai Sena, who are former highly touted recruits that are kind of bouncing back and looking for a change of scenery. So you're still always going to have those kinds of guys if you're Purdue, but getting the guys with experience is big.
Yeah, Tom, and you've covered this and watched this closely in the last couple of years. The form, I think, was it 10? Initially 10 of the first 14 were Power 4 guys from big schools, guys that, for whatever reason, and then W quoted the numbers of the guys that have some experience, but that formula, you got to hit on these guys too. It's ultra important as you continue to add guys. And what's your take on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I think, it's no revelation, but I think the general feeling is you want production over potential. Yeah. I mean, you can't be rolling the dice hoping somebody's going to produce for you, especially if you're in Purdue's predicament, right?
Yeah.
We all know the sense of urgency in West Lafayette. They got to win now. They had to win yesterday.
Yeah.
So they have to get proven commodities, guys who have played. And I really don't care if you played at the FCS level, D1, D2, whatever. If you can play, I think you can play. I think you can play no matter where you're coming from. Sometimes those guys from lower levels are hungrier.
Yeah.
Than maybe a guy transferring down, so to speak, from an SEC school to Purdue.
Yeah.
Maybe they may look at Purdue in a different light than a guy coming up from a smaller school.
Yeah.
So again, I like those guys with something to prove, with a chip on their shoulder, and Purdue's got some of those guys. I think Dub and I both really like the two running backs they got so far. Mm-hmm. The kid from Texas, Jarrett Gibson, he talked about highly talented players. Boy, he was a guy no more highly talented than anybody Purdue's got to come in from so far, right? A 4-star kid from IMG Academy from Gainesville, Florida. Just going to Texas tells you all you need. He got on the field in Austin, too. And then the kid, here's a perfect example from Jackson State, the SWAC. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Walter Payton's alma mater, Travis Terrell. I posted on the message board yesterday or 2 days ago a video clip of a punt return he had. And this kid's electric, right? And he's kind of a water bug, 5'9", 175. He can catch the ball. You can do a lot of things with them. They like to see the Swiss Army knife. That you can line them up outside. You can return kicks where you can catch passes on third down. So kind of a thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Dynamic. Dub had somebody tell him that, and that seems like a good moniker for those two guys. So a nice start there, and a lot of positions, right? I guess now I kind of wonder what Dub thinks. We have 15 guys now, Dub. How many more do you think we're going to see?
Yeah. Good question. Go ahead, Dub. Answer that.
It's hard to put an exact number on it, but in terms of looking at the positions that I think they need to continue to add to, and I think Tom and I have talked about this as well. Edge rusher hasn't really seen any transfers incoming, and that was a big big issue for Purdue last year, not being able to get a consistent enough pass rush from those edge guys, Sands, CJ Nunnally. I think there's a spot that they need to hit hard. I think cornerback, which they're doing. Cornerback still has a few guys out there that Purdue's looking at, and then wide receiver as well.
Yeah,
I think those are the three big ones right now. Prior to a day or two ago, I would have said offensive line too, but you get three guys that I think can come in and start in Boz Stanley, Micah Banuelos, and Nuku Mafi. Excuse me, I've been butchering that name already.
I don't know how you guys are doing it anyway, but go ahead.
To say. It's a fun name to say.
Mm-hmm. They had a couple of good all-name team guys, him and then Mr. Clark. I think those two might be some fan favorites if they go out there and produce. But a wide receiver, cornerback, and edge rusher, I think are the three biggest areas of need, and where I would expect Purdue to add to between now and honestly the end of January, because the portal closes on the 16th, but you can add guys whenever. So I think you can see for the next month or two, you might see guys added here and there.
All right, the $64,000 question, or actually maybe the $6 million question in the world of college football, is quarterback, and we've discussed that at length with Ryan Brown coming back. I'll start with you, Tom. But any thought that I know there's thoughts of whether they're going to add one, maybe not a high level, or a one that's at the $6 million level, obviously. But what do you see there? And as this continues to evolve, that seems to be the big question, not the only question, certainly.
Unless Alan Carpet can line up some NIL deal for a kid, maybe we can get the Raiola kid from Nebraska in West.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah, well, I can't. As I said, I can't get him to pay him $500,000 to mow my lawn. That wouldn't even be enough. That wouldn't even be enough. But go ahead.
It's a really big yard. You got a really big yard. Yeah, that is the big question, and I think from what Dub and I sort of gather, I don't anticipate it. I guess I'll speak for myself right now. I don't anticipate it. I think if the price is right, if they find a kid, it's going to be someone along the lines of Malachi Singleton, somebody that ilk, an unproven guy, like a redshirt freshman guy who's barely started his career. But they've already got 5 quarterbacks on scholarship.
Yeah.
And I kind of got the sense that's about their cap for that position, 5 quarterbacks on scholarship. When Evans Chuba came back, I think that may have kind of closed the door on bringing in a portal quarterback. Who knows, though? I mean, again, if the price is right, if they got a kid who wants to come and they like him, and again, the price is right. But at this point, I'd say the odds of them bringing in a quarterback are slim. And again, if they bring in somebody, it's not going to be the kind of guy fans are going to be shaking their pom-pom about, and they think they got the next Matthew Stafford. So like it or not, Ryan Brown's going to be your quarterback next year. And like Dub said, boy, they only got one receiver right now in the portal.
Yeah, that's got to be.
Kid from FAU. And Dub talked about edge rusher. We had somebody tell both of us pretty close to the program. We asked him once, what are the biggest priorities for Purdue? He goes, well, the top 3, he goes, edge rusher, edge rusher, edge rusher.
Yeah.
So there you go. And they have none right now. So good luck getting some difference makers off the edge. Those guys, that position, destroying the athletic, they're priced out positions. That position is second most priciest after quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If you got like Nick Scorton or Cadron Jenkins, those guys cost a lot of money. So anyway, they got to get somebody off the edge, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to fill that role. Dub and I are out of eligibility. And again, he talked about cornerback too. We like Mr. Clark, a big kid, like he's a 6 foot tall kid. but you need some more guys out there too. So bear with me. I'll give you a quick rundown. 3 defensive linemen, 1 receiver, 2 running backs, 2 linebackers, 2 DBs, 4 offensive linemen, and then 1 punter. Like Dub said, looks like a very good punter out of Buffalo. And you guys know how much I like punters.
Yeah. It's funny, and the elephant in the room, in at least among fandom, is obviously, and by the time Indiana obviously plays tonight, for those of you that are watching this on Friday, now some of you may hear this as part of Saturday simulcast on Saturday, but keeping up with that situation being the elephant in the room, and where that I don't know if that's the whole litmus test. Obviously, Indiana's caught lightning in a bottle and may win the national championship. I still can't get used to saying that, but this is the standard that Purdue fans, or not the standard. You got to be able to compete against your rival, and it's amazing how quickly things have turned in 2 years. But how do and I'll ask both of you this. Dub, I'll start with you, just in terms of that mantra. I know Barry Odom doesn't have in his staff, they just want to get quality football players here and be competitive, but that still hangs over the program a little bit in terms of at least watching Indiana make its way to the national championship.
Yeah, I think it's just adding insult to injury. If you're Purdue and you're a Purdue fan, just seeing what Indiana's been able to do, their quick turnaround, it makes you think like, why can't Purdue do that? And I don't know. You guys have been watching college football a lot longer than I have. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has. This is an anomaly. This is once in a generation. I don't know if anyone else will ever see this in their lifetime. Just how drastic of a change this has been for Indiana football. I think Purdue fans can look at Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, Virginia this year. Jed Fish and what he did at Arizona, that kind of model where you start slow and you build your foundation and you gradually get better and better and better as a program. I think that's a lot more realistic to look at and kind of strive for, rather than going from, what were they, 3-9 to only losing the game last year, and then being the favorite to win the national championship this year. So I think if you're Purdue, that's kind of what you should strive for, and what you're going to have to strive for, rather than the extreme that we've seen in Bloomington.
Yeah, Bruce Weber, Tom, it said in offline and guest later in the show, but he was at Kansas State, and this, having covered college football for a long time, Bill Snyder. I mean, that'd be about the only one that, and again, I understand that life is totally different than it was, but it's almost as shocking, or Indiana's more shocking, and even what Bill Snyder did, I think, at Kansas State in the program. We do remember a day, Tom and I, being a little bit older, that when Oregon was awful. Yeah. Well, they're not that way anymore. But it is an interesting dynamic, Tom, in terms of a standard among fans. That if I'm Barry Odom, I can't worry about that. I just got to get the best guys in here and figure out a way to coach them up.
Yeah, you got to keep your head down and keep working, right? You always want to keep your eye on your enemies, though. They got to know what's going on down south.
Yeah.
And Kansas State, Oregon, and Virginia Tech's another school that Frank Beamer. There's one point they were going to fire him, I remember, after his 3rd year. But, of course, they ended up playing for the national championship at one point. So, but again, the paradigm's changed so much, right?
It's apples.
Dub referenced Virginia and Arizona of recent vintage that maybe more realistic things to strive to be as far as the more gradual ascent. But it's still a pretty quick ascent now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jeb Fish had him flipping 2 years in Tucson, I think, right?
Yep.
And the guy at Virginia did it just as quick. So again, 2-3 years max.
Yeah.
You should be able to get this thing flipped if you're going to flip it, right? It just seems like the timetable has been sped up now with this transfer portal and your ability to make these wholesale changes in your roster, and so again, you're right. It is what it is, and again, what's going on in Indiana is maybe the greatest story in college sports history.
Yeah, if not sports.
I mean, that sounds crazy. And I'm not a guy who wants to get caught up in the hype of the moment, but I don't know, man. There's the reason this program in college football history is on the verge of winning a national title.
Yeah.
I mean, a college football power is the #1 seed in the playoff, ranked #1, has the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, just 3 years ago, I thought you were crazy. I'd had somebody come put you in a straitjacket
Yeah,
and get you in the padded, put you in the padded cell. But again, people got to deal with it and blame Curt Cignetti because he's ruined it for everybody.
yeah, not just Purdue.
Everybody's pointing at IU. Why can't this be us? Why can't that be us? And believe me, Purdue's not the only school banging its head against the wall when people making that comparison.
Well said and well taken. BetMGM is a sponsor, and I should have put never have bet in my life. Should have bet 2 years ago. Just think how many odds you could have gotten. You probably could have gotten them somewhere.
You wouldn't be on this simulcast.
No, I would not. I would.
You'd be in Aruba.
Yeah, there you go. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much. We'll look forward to your work. By the time most of you listen, watch, view this, something will have changed. Tom and Dub are adding to it daily. Of course, we'll be talking also to Mike this afternoon. But so a lot going on, and a reminder too. If you're not a subscriber, a portal special, we'll call it the Dub and Tom special, half off of your subscription to goldenblack.com. Think about that. It'd be a great way to join us.
Quick hats off to Dub. He's doing a great job, man. And just like I said, I really appreciate what he brings to the table. And fans, be wise to sign up. I think we have a pretty good team here, and Dub's really been keeping us all on top of the portal real well.
All right. Well, we will take a short break, and in segment 2, Bruce Weber will join us, and we'll look forward to talking a little Big Ten basketball. And then following that, segment 3, Bruce Parkinson will join us too, and both those guys, great analysts of college basketball, and we'll look forward to that. Gentlemen, have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.